Welcome to My Opinion Matters. My name is Andrew Zettel. We're very excited. We've got a great show for you. Today we're going to be talking about movies. With the Oscar nominations out, what is the best movie of 2017? Some of our panelists will address that today. We're also going to be talking about clubs at the University of Waterloo. What's the best club that our panelists didn't get the chance to join just yet? Maybe they will in the future. And to kick things off, Elon Musk has been selling flamethrowers, 7,000 of them. Let's talk about that and whether or not this is an irresponsible idea. But first, let's introduce our panelist. Nadine is in third year in economics, and Nguyen is in his fourth year of knowledge integration, and Sadia is in her second year of planning. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Show. Let's kick things off with Elon Musk. The article, which we posted in the description for everyone watching along, is Elon Musk sells $3.5 million worth of flamethrowers in a single day. What's your initial reaction when you read this article, Nadine?
I think it's weird. I didn't know what to think when I read it at first, and it just seems so bizarre, but just the mere fact that he's actually selling them and people are buying them is indicating that there is a demand for it. So I think the whole thing is a little crazy to me to think about, but I guess if there's a demand, then he's doing his job as a businessman, but from an ethic point of view, it's a little strange.
There's the video that's embedded in there where he's in the office and he just does an impromptu demo of the flamethrower. Yeah. Sadia, what was your reaction to that video?
I saw that and I was like, this guy is an influencer. He's such an innovator. He's such an environmentalist. He's changing the way we think about trucks, the way we think about cars, the way we think about PayPal and things like that, online banking, and for him to release a product that has no real purpose, it kind of baffled me, right? Because he's such he's a game changer. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think brought this on, Nguyen?
I think that it's mostly around the Boring Company, his little venture there to build transportation under the streets of Los Angeles. So I think it's a pretty good hype move to get an attraction towards that company.
So it's strictly publicity.
I think so. I think he is, one of the best hype men of recent years.
Yeah.
I'd like to know if the carbon offset from the flamethrowers is set, by the electric cars.
Yeah.
We'll see that.
You mentioned the Boring Company, which also sold baseball caps. It said 50,000 baseball caps.
I think it's in the same vein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A company that sells ball caps and flamethrowers. It's
what
kind
next?
of bizarre.
I'm keen on seeing what's next.
What do we think he's going to be remembered for in the long run, Elon Musk? Is this one of those things that we're going to go, okay, he's a crazy madman, or is it the bigger projects that we're going to be thinking about?
I definitely think his bigger projects are the one that have the most impact in the world. It's also what the media portrays too, than what the media wants you to know. So I think his bigger projects, you mentioned Tesla, and just the fact that he's changing the game and he's such a forward thinker in terms of his innovation, I think, and I hope that is what he's known for. I think this is just more in line with what you were saying about the Boring Company, because I remember him saying that if you buy these $20 baseball caps, I'll start selling flamethrowers as a way to start selling the baseball caps. So,
yeah. Does anyone want to go to Mars? Anyone interested?
Not anytime soon.
I want to explore our own Earth first. Our world is 70% water. Let's explore it.
Right, so some kind of underwater project, yeah.
Gonna go work with James Cameron on the next Deep Sea Challenger.
Oh, yeah.
Ian, would you go?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, go to Mars?
Yeah. I'd say the timeline of humanity is hung on a timeline of exploration, and Mars is what's next, so we got to go to Mars.
I see. Even if it's a one-way trip?
Yes.
Even if you can't come back?
Yeah, just not dying on impact, as Elon Musk says.
Okay, right. That's right. He said, I want to go, but I want to make sure I land safely.
Yeah.
So, excellent. Thank you so much. We'll have to keep watching what the next crazy Elon Musk ideas. We want to move on to movies. Now, in general, do we go out to the movies to see all the newest flicks, or are we mostly at home with Netflix?
I find the older I get, the less I want to spend money. So Netflix definitely is a big thing. You know what, this year in particular, there haven't been a lot of movies that have made me want to go to the theater. So it's kind of a hit or miss, I think. It really just depends on the movie itself.
Yeah, we were looking at, and we'll put this up on the screen, the Oscar Best Picture nominees. There are 9 of them, and then the highest grossing films of all time. Now, Ian, you went to see the highest grossing film of all time, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, the movies are still I don't go very often, it's still a special thing. So when the newest Star Wars comes out, that's one of those special things. And The Last Jedi was, it wasn't bad. It was, I'd say, relatively middle of the pack in terms of my favorite Star Wars films. I think it had some nice homages to previous episodes. I wasn't a fan of the witch Princess Leia coming back from the dead there. Spoilers, sorry.
Yeah.
But it was, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it's amazing. It makes $1.2 billion, but then when you ask people, it's kind of polarizing. Eh? What do you think turned off fans from it who still went to see it, but then afterwards might not have liked it?
I think there's a little bit of a changing underlying philosophy to the Star Wars franchise. I'm not sure where that comes from, if it's a J.J. Abrams new trilogy type thing, or if it's just trying to cater to a new audience, but it seems to be less of kind of the traditional hero that needs the Force. Rey doesn't need the Force anymore, she can do it, or she doesn't need Luke to train her how to use the Force. She can find her own way, so that kind of self-actualization from your own work is a little different than
doesn't feel like the Luke
yeah.
Skywalker story that people were familiar with. Yeah.
I mean, find out he didn't really need the books either, and doesn't really think too much of the philosophy itself. But I'm really giving spoilers away. It was a bit of a change, but I think not the worst, that's for sure.
Was there a movie, Sadia, that you went to see this year that either you really liked or maybe that disappointed you, like Star Wars might have for some people?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Nadine. Like, there weren't that many impactful movies. I feel like there were more franchises. Sorry, I'm not a Star Wars fan, but yeah, like Lion and Moonlight. So 2 years ago, like one of the best movies that came out. They like changed my life, like impactful, meaningful. And yeah, this year, so I don't have a favorite, but I do have a least favorite, or like something that was very overrated, which was Get Out.
Right, which is one of our Best Picture nominees. Tell us why it rubbed you the wrong way.
It was very overhyped, and everyone told me like it's so good, it's great, it changes like the way you see things and things like that. But I just feel like it was so divisive, and it forced people to be more like on edge, and people were more like, oh, white people are crazy, and like we gotta stick together and things like that. And like for me, I didn't very much like that divisive aspect of the movie, which made it seem like, I don't know, that white people were crazy. I just didn't like that.
Yeah, it was pitched to me as a horror movie, and then I went to see it, and I don't like horror movies, so I was expecting not to like it, and then I thought, well, it's not as scary as other, as The Conjuring or something like that, but so then I was like, oh, this is kind of good, but I had no idea of really the subject matter of the race relations and stuff, but a lot of hype, for this nominee. It's Jordan Peele. Anyone seen Key and Peele, right?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing.
Interesting way to approach kind of social commentary through a horror film.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What's also interesting coming from Jordan Peele, who was in Key and Peele, and that change in genre, going from sketch comedy on Comedy Central to a horror movie that gets nominated for an Oscar.
That's right. Yeah, first time I think for a horror
Yeah.
movie nominated for an Oscar.
Oh, really?
So,
First
yeah,
time.
for-
I thought
for Best Picture, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh wow.
The commenters will fact check us later. So yeah, it's incredible. Other movies, like when we look at those highest grossing movies, we mentioned it's a lot of franchises. It's a lot of sequels and Despicable Me 3. Like, do you think people are getting a little bit tuned out of these movies?
My biggest pet peeve are these franchises that are just cash cows. They just come year after year with another sequel, and I don't know how much more you could extend the storyline without it being excessive. And so every year I think, oh, that's it, like we won't really see any more. But I think it's just something that keeps bringing in money.
Fate of the Furious. Is anyone Fast and the Furious fans?
No.
Long time.
It's like, what number is this one? I don't even...
I want to say 8 or 9.
Yeah, probably 8 or 9.
8 or 9.
But apparently we're not the people, but apparently some people are still going
Yeah,
to see
that's
them.
right, yeah.
Still
Yeah.
reaching some audience.
It's 1.2 billion. I did like Beauty and the Beast.
That was good.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
As far as the... Not a fan?
No, not really. It's just a whole franchise thing for me. Like,
Right.
there was one, there was a book, there was probably another one, and now they just have to keep revamping. Like, these are classics, like...
I think
For
there's a
me-
difference between revamping something and having
Yeah.
a whole series. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know, like
I
Guardians
agree
of the
with that.
Galaxy 27 we're going to come
Yeah.
out with, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast was, I think, a nice rendition of the
It's
classic.
it's another way I find too of targeting multiple audiences. Like you have the generation that followed up with the cartoon version, and now with the live action, you can target that older generation and their kids.
Mm.
So I guess in their eyes, they're hitting two, like, this isn't awful.
Yeah,
analogy, but
No,
two birds
that's
with
right.
one stone.
That's right, yeah. Do you think it spoiled the older one for you, or didn't do it justice?
No, I think, like, I'm being honest, maybe, like, I guess I'm just not a Disney fan. Like, that's probably just it.
That's fair.
I did like it. I went to go see it, like, the 2 movies I actually went to go see, but it's, like, it's nice to see because you see the cartoon and you see your childhood, and then you see, like, all these new special effects and, like, all these new ways to, like, see the beast and these different angles and these different, like, inanimate objects. So I just thought the special effects are cool, you know?
They're
Even in
very
Fast
cool,
and
yeah.
Furious, like,
Mhm.
seeing the car chases, they're boring, personally. But, yeah, like, it's cool to see. It's cool to see, like, movies evolve with franchises.
Right, yeah.
Mhm.
It's awesome, yeah. So, my favorite movie of the year was, which I don't think many people here saw, but was probably Darkest Hour, which I'm going to be totally contradictory because Darkest Hour I love is about Winston Churchill, and then it's true story and everything, and then The Post came out. We were talking about this right before. Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, Steven Spielberg, and I had no desire to see that. Has anyone seen that movie?
I haven't either. I mean, I love Tom Hanks. He's one of my favorite actors. I think he's so sweet. And we always, my family and I have this tradition of watching You've Got Mail every Christmas. So I feel like he's just been someone who's been a part of my childhood for so long.
Right.
But I do agree with you, and I think that we always see these movies year after year where it's very, you know, your classic Oscar-nominated movie with a high-grossing actor and a high-grossing actress such as Meryl Streep. So it almost seems too predictable to me. I'll probably wait until it comes out.
It comes
on
out
Netflix.
on Netflix. That's right. It's one when you're like have nothing else to do.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not in a rush to see it. I don't think.
That's like something I found. Like I meant to see. I meant to see The Post. I meant to see Molly's Game. It was created by director Aaron Sorkin. This is his first debut, and I love his writing, so I was gonna see it and just haven't seen it. I don't know if it's maybe I just am too spoiled with Netflix, staying inside. But I think. But to your point on spoiling childhood or not spoiling childhood, I also saw Captain Underpants movie, which was a huge
that movie?
huge part of my childhood, and I was trembling in fear because I thought my childhood was going to be destroyed by this movie. But it wasn't. Kind of the same vein. It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't.
Too bad. Yeah.
Okay, really? I can't believe you went to see that. Well, that's amazing, though.
I
know no one who's seen
I'm so surprised that was an Oscar nominated.
Was it fun?
That was Oscar nominated?
No, I'm kidding.
No.
Oh.
Oh man! And is it? I didn't even know. Is it? It's a cartoon. It's cartoon.
Yeah,
film,
yeah. It's kind of a comic book type thing, the original books, but they kind of made an interesting way of having it in a film format, and I thought it wasn't terrible.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Let us know for anyone watching what your favorite movie was. Leave it in the comments on YouTube or even on our Facebook page. We're going to move on to our third topic, which is the clubs here at UW. And we sent the list to our panelists of all the clubs that are listed on the Federation of Students website. It is amazing when you look at all the different clubs. And I mean, we see it at Clubs Day when they're in the Student Life Center, eh? And so we want to know just what was one that surprised you when you thought, oh, that would have been cool if I had done that.
I want to see it. I think anything food related, that was a big one. So the one that stood out to me the most was Coffee Lovers of Waterloo. I don't know if I got the name right, but my love for coffee has just grown exponentially in university, so it seems like a perfect club to join. So I kind of wish I found out about that.
Because it's a survival drink, right?
Exactly.
We have to.
Yeah,
we need
you
to get through
replace
with it,
water
right?
with coffee.
Yeah.
That's how you survive.
Nice.
Amazing. Ian?
On a similar vein, I thought the photography club sounded pretty cool. Something I've got into a little bit recently, and thought that'd be, a peer learning experience. Do some photojournalism or take some videos, photos of events. Would be a cool experiential learning experience that I think I could have. It'd be cool.
It's awesome. Sadia?
I was like looking through a lot of them, and I did find so many interesting ones, like like Model UN, Cultural Language Exchange, but like the one that stood out to me was like Nail Salon Club. So I mean, I just thought that was interesting. Like people get together, like get their nails done. Like I had no idea like something like that existed, and there's so many clubs like that. There's also a club called Control A, which is club that really likes anime and things like that. So I just thought like it's very clever to see like what students come up with.
Yeah.
Innovation starts here.
It's true. And it's amazing when you can find people who have that same interest, right? Like you might think, oh, I'm the only person who's really into anime or something like that. And lo and behold, you have a big group, right? Cool. You're involved with the club, right, Nadine?
Yes. So for this semester, I'm one of the co-presidents for a club called the UW Style Society. And so it's a project-based club that aims to empower students to express their confidence through their personal style. So if you're into fashion and you want to meet other people who are into fashion and you kind of want to be in that creative space, then it's definitely a club to check out for sure.
I love it. We'll post a little bit more information in the description for people who want to check it out. Did you guys get involved in clubs in first year? Did you have some things you were involved in?
I did. I think university is different in the sense that everything is up to you. So when I signed up for a club, it was just very like, yeah, I'll sign up, and at first you decide whether or not you want to go to the meetings. You're really held accountable for whatever. So I think the more I progressed throughout university, the more actually involved I got with the clubs. And I'd like to try like a different breadth of clubs. So some of the other clubs that I've joined were Her Campus Waterloo, which is like a media-based club, and it's an international organization. Another one that I joined in second year was the Animal Rights Club. So it's just a really great way to meet different groups of people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sadia?
I've actually never joined a club at Waterloo. I know it's...
Me neither.
You haven't either?
Yeah,
okay, good. I don't feel that
Waterloo
bad.
students.
Yeah, I know. I really haven't. I don't know why. I should.
I think, I don't know, like when the clubs day is on, like it is a little overwhelming.
It is
you walk
overwhelming.
through and you see all this and you go, oh, I could do that and that and that, and then you're in indecision. So I think you don't pick. You just say, oh, I'll just.
Yeah.
Well, not doing.
The cool thing is that all the list of Feds clubs is actually not the entire list. So there's like 300 clubs here on campus.
Yeah.
And if you don't find one that interests you, you can just, I think it's like you grab yourself and 2 to 3 other friends and you sign up with Feds and you've created a club.
And
so
there you go.
Yeah, it's that easy.
And I think as long as you have an event or and a few things, you can get the funding.
Exactly.
Ian, thoughts?
Yeah, I had a similar overwhelming experience first year going to the club today. That's wild. I don't know how they fit that many booths in the SLC. It's crazy. Yeah. Dabbled around a few clubs too. I think it was a good way to explore different interests in first year, second year. Although most of my kind of club activities were situated around the university college at St. Paul's, where I stayed first year. But yeah, it's a great way to build community that I think is maybe a little lacking sometimes here at UW. Yeah, it seems to be a club for everything until there isn't, and then you can build one.
And then you can build one. I had two that I saw on the list. Contrary to what people may or may not know, this guy used to be a pretty avid knitter. So I saw that there's a charity knitting circle back in elementary school. I had a teacher who taught us to knit. So I thought, oh, maybe I should get back into knitting. I wouldn't even remember where to start. But also sketch comedy, the sketch comedy club. We were talking about Key and Peele, and I'm a huge fan of Saturday Night Live, and their description is so cool. I'll read it out here. Maybe we'll put it on the screen as well. They say, "We write, we perform, we direct, we produce, we showcase sketch comedy. If you like comedy in any way, come out, you'll have fun and learn a lot." And then they have this parody disclaimer. They say, UWSCC is an equal opportunity employer. We do not discriminate based on race, gender, sexuality, religion, creed, shoe size, favorite color, oral hygiene, body hygiene, pubic hygiene, skin ashiness, wipe direction, left-handedness, morning owls, night birds, Leafs fans, nor Habs fans. So I just thought that's just perfect.
That is lovely. More clubs should be that creative with their description.
Yeah, sometimes you're reading through and you're like, okay, yeah, we know what you do just off the title, but yeah, I love that. So if you're looking to get involved with a club, check out the link to the Feds Club website. You can check out all of those descriptions and get involved, or as we mentioned, you can start your own. Thank you so much to our panelists this week on My Opinion Matters. Let us know again what you think by leaving comments on our Facebook page, My Opinion Matters UW, or on our YouTube channel. From all of us here at My Opinion Matters, your opinion matters. Have a great week.